For those of you who don't know, my name is Light Messenger Ruby, and we are live on Facebook, so which is why I have the mic also going on, okay? So that it records well and that the others can hear too. For those of you who are wondering what is trance channeling, like I briefly explained it to some of you before the time, it's basically me allowing a signal to come through from light energies. And the reason why I say that is because those are the boundaries that I put. Those with good intentions and with love that are here to help encourage us, okay? They come through like I'm a radio, I pick up the signal that comes through. So, and if you have any questions, again, speak up, and again, don't raise your hand because I'm not going to see it. My eyes will be closed, okay? Again, my name is Ruby, and but before we do that, I want to basically propose right now, I don't want to say like a practice run, but if any of you have any questions as to this channeling or how it works, by all means, we can use this platform now to do that. If you have any other questions regarding it. Or are you all good? You got the gist of it? And if you're wondering as well, yes, I do mediumship. It's not the main thing that I focus on, but these are energies that mainly that come through. We're looking at the Galactic Federation of Light. We're looking at Mother Earth, Gaia. Some people have a different name for her, but that's how I recognize her in that name format. It could be soul groups, it could be people's guides, but in this situation, it will be as a collective. Okay, so it's more likely going to be one that's sitting here. It will be something more that's going to be for a general message, okay?
So do you walk around all the time on, or do you have a way to separate yourself so you're not doing that all the time?
So that's a very, very good question. I normally, when I want to connect, I do put the intention of connecting. But it doesn't mean that I don't get messages sometimes. So I could be busy with something, with not even thinking of spiritually connecting. And all of a sudden, something will prompt me and bring me a message. Whether it's call somebody. Some people call intuition. Some people feel it like it's a psychic ability. Sometimes it could come through like that. Sometimes it will be downloads that I'm getting with certain messages. And it will be like an aha moment. And I'll be like, oh, you know, like, what is the equation of this and this and this? Which I won't be thinking that, trust me. But something will come to me with an equation and say, that's relevant to this and this and this. And I'll be like, oh my goodness, I never even thought about it. So I'll either write it down or I'll call that one that says call a friend hotline, and then I'll say, listen, I gotta share this with you. Things like that. So yes, since I've gone through my, how can you say it, my awakening, my sensories spiritual senses have become even more active and enhanced. Now, if I know, listen, I'm going to be in a situation where it's not the time or the place to get me all excited about something cool where I can't just say, well, I got to get out of here, right? Write this down. I will then put intentions and just say, hey, like I'll spiritually, just like in my mind, or I'll verbally say, this is not the time or the place. You know, let's not even go there right now. And a perfect example is like if I'm doing Reiki work on somebody and that person doesn't want to hear a message, because I always ask before I present it. And if they don't want to hear it, I make it very like just a mental note. Just cut off. I'm not paying attention. Don't try to come through, because they don't want that. We have to respect the person that we're working with, right? And that's another thing. I am a Reiki master teacher, so not only do I do trance channeling like this, I do it through readings as well. I like to use oracle cards because there's times that I do feel like a modern day oracle. And the other reason is I just seem to just connect. It's almost the modality of it that I seem to connect with more. And also what I do is I either do channeling with that, or I just don't even use cards at all. So it really depends on how I'm led. So that we'll see how today will go with this message. And I've got my cards here and my brochure if any of you ever want to do a personal, do something privately, with me and do an appointment and that. And I do offer classes as well with my Reiki. Okay. So any more questions? That was a good question. Good? Alright. Just bear with me. What I do like to do first is to ground and to spiritually connect and to put my intentions out there, and that's what I'm going to do now with some people might see it as a prayer, so bear with me 1 second. I like to take this opportunity to approach the universe, God, divine source, as myself and all of us that are here today in this room and in this property. I ask the divine pour down that beautiful golden energy to protect and to shelter the messages that need to come through, and to protect each one of us and to embody each one of us. And while saying that, I ask Archangel Michael as well to continue protecting this property and each one of us with his team. My energy is my energy, and each individual that is on this property, their energy is their own energy. I am a channel of light, only that of light, love, and with good intentions is allowed to bring a message through me today. No negative energies or entities are welcome through my vessel. So loaded. What's a beautiful moment it is at this time, with souls that are curious, souls that are feeling their own sensories awaken. They are definitely being drawn like, as they would say, moths to a flame. The beautiful thing is that these moths that are We are indeed the Galactic Federation of Light. We do feel that those that are meant to hear this message are the ones that are here today, or the ones that are able to have access to it electronically. Many of you feeling those sensories tingle and noticing gifts and treasures that are being revealed within yourselves, to yourselves, enhancing desires of following a certain path, using your gifts and your talents that you are currently aware of. The most wonderful thing about that is that the discovery is not for one thing, and there is no end to discovering your true essence. Many of you have had so many lifetimes. Those that even numbers cannot come to surface at this time and through this channel. So, can you imagine that you have collected throughout each of those lifetimes? It's not just a collection of trauma, a collection of wounds, a collection of brokenness. One tends to put an emphasis on that more than anything else. That emphasis of, I was a martyr, or I am suffering this consequence because of a decision I made way back when, in a different life. And those words that we just shared, it's not trying to belittle or not show acknowledgement of the paths that you have all chosen, whether they were traumatic or somewhat uncomfortable, but is to remind you that your lives, whether past, present, or future, is not just about focusing on the negative. But keep in mind that you also came through those different lives, collecting experience, collecting knowledge, accumulating tools for your tool belt, growing. There are no limitations to how much you can accumulate. And those things to keep available even in this incarnation. A tool is not useful to you if you're not even aware that you have it. This is why self-discovery is highly recommended. And that plays a role with self-love. love. They are hand in hand, because the more you discover, the more you fall in love with your true essence. You see the value of who you are. You see the of who you are. You appreciate who you are. There is no looking for validation. There is no looking for recognition. The true validation and the true recognition is that you do for yourself. It is time. Even those with many years of experience in this current incarnation, they too need to embrace that. Not just those that are awakening at this time or that are freshly awakening, because you will see that this awakening process is not just one moment of clarity, but it will be that of a continuous one throughout your journey. What more precious can it be? Or how more precious could it be? When you are aware how blessed you are, and then discover even more. Because once you discover that, those tools will then in return assist you with the trauma, with the wounds, so if you think about it, as it's been shared before through channel, through this specific conduit, love is healing and healing is love. So can you put that perspective, that picture in your mind as you discover who you are? You fall in love with who you are. When you able to do that, you start automatically creating healing energy within yourself of rejection that you possibly may have had, being misunderstood, being falsely accused. You start to realize how that was told to you that you are not worthy, you indeed are. That's just part of that healing. And then comes the other things that you've then discovered that will help with the other aspects. So they all work hand in hand. And what happens in return? You're increasing your vibrations. You're increasing your effect for those around you, including this beautiful sphere assisting Mother Earth. These are quite repetitive terms, messages, but they are important because not all have heard them and not all actually were listening. At this time, we would like to offer the opportunity for yourselves to ask any question, and we will, according to the allowance from your higher selves to respond accordingly. Are there we have this channel that has a question. She has just proposed. She asks whether indeed is this healing of humanity something that will be seen in her lifetime with respect to complete restoration and peace. And we would like to respond to that. It's a very good question. That all depends on humanity as a whole. It does not mean that every individual needs to be enlightened or awakened or ascended, because as many of you know, those that are incarnated at this time part are here to assist with this ascension, and some are just here to assist with that of disclosure, playing a role of, maybe in some people's terms, the villain, but not because they are in fact evil souls, but they are here to assist in the. So you may see things at time and say to yourself, how is this world going to heal? How is this world ever going to come right? It is progressively getting worse. These are things that we hear from many souls. But we're here to remind you that it is important, in fact, for these things to happen, because when humanity gets to that point of feeling very uneasy and uncomfortable, no matter who they are, light workers, atheists, however they would choose to label themselves, there is a common denominator for the most part with all of those individuals, and that is wanting to live in peace, wanting to put an end to cruelty as put according to humanity's perspective. And whether you will be witnessing it or not, that all depends on how much is being revealed, and how much is being allowed to be revealed, and how much a response to it from those with voices to say it's enough. That will determine in human form a timeline. But as you are aware, we do not see things within a time frame. Would there be more to that? Yes. The ascension has already started. In fact, it started you can say somewhat like 60 years ago. Unborn certain countries. Some countries have already started their ascension a few thousand years ago. But as a general, yes. What is happening from that is that it is starting to have its healing. It is starting to have its ripple effect. So in fact, you are already witnessing that. But it is a gradual transition. As you are aware, it does take time in human time frames, if that is quite clear. Are there any questions to that statement? Somebody, you know who you are. A recent loss. We know you have a question. A recent loss. This is not pressure at this time, but this channel is available afterwards if you would like to ask something with respect to that. If there aren't any questions, then we would like to use again this platform to remind you that you will continuously be changing. These changes you go through now, these are not your first and final goal or so-called accomplishment. For it to just end. You will be going through continuous transformation when it's necessary, because you'll have to adapt accordingly. It's not a bad thing, it's actually a beautiful thing. And these changes will continue even in your next life. You're next, and you're next. And some of you are actually currently, well, most of you, all of you. This channel was hesitant to say all, but we got her to say it. All of you are not only in this timeline or in this dimension, if you want to put it that way, in human terms. Some of you are in other places too. And we want her to acknowledge all of you. This is not the only incarnation or existence that you are experiencing. So embrace it all. Continue. Because glad that you learn now that you embrace will also assist that other part of you that's in that other realm or parallel world, however you would like to label it. That is purely up to you because not all are aware of exactly how it works until you cross over. So at this time, we want to remind you that you are all loved, you're all appreciated and valued, because indeed you are all worthy. And we are complete. Sorry, I had to reestablish that grounding. That was just, it really does feel great when I do that. But let's be honest, you can't just be up there all the time. We're not even up there, but just be out there the whole time. What did you guys feel? What did you guys feel? Do you have questions about it? Bring a little bit of clarity to some of the things that maybe you thought of before. Thank you.
Talking about trauma, and then it feels like being told, yes, it's transient. It's not something that will do that.
Correct. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. I like that. And the channeling that I do is not just for other people, it's for me too. I learn so much from my channeling. I'm like the biggest student. And I do get hesitant sometimes to say stuff. And they'll correct me. And they'll humble me. I just want to say some. And they'll let me say something. And I'm like, okay, all like, I'm very much of, until I have proof of it, I don't like to say stuff that I'm, but they're channeling and they're like, this, we're telling you, so, which is awesome. But it was a reminder to me as well. We're so focused on, don't get me wrong. I believe in, I've even channeled this, I believe that healing is part of what's going to help this world come right? But it's not just that you need the tools for it. Whether it's spiritual, emotional, support, however you want to see it, it's doing self-love. You can't do such in-depth work on yourself if you don't love yourself enough to do it. And sometimes getting to know yourself brings that opportunity to self-love. And that is such an importance. If people see it, whether it's because of society or religion, man-made religion, just control in general, they see it as a state of arrogance, a state of selfishness that we walk on, like we're just more worth than what we you do. That's what some places believe. And societies believe on this planet. And it's sad. Because in fact, we are all one. We are all part of the same thing. We are all worthy. We're all worthy to heal. We're all worthy to love. And to be loved. We're even worthy to be angry at times. We're worthy to say, you know what? This is not okay. And maybe we have the right to be. Or maybe we don't. But we can go, you know what? I'm ticked off. I'm not happy with this. Well then, you know what? Feel it. You're even worthy to feel whatever it is that you need to feel. Just embrace it, and then let it go. Those are the things. It's not about harboring it. It's not about not even allowing yourself, because then there again is control and not being free and not being true to yourself and showing that self-love. Self-love is listen to what your heart needs to say. Listen to what your voice needs to say. That is, for me, the most important part of any spiritual awakening. It's just like that core. Because then it does move outwards. And you guys, with your work and doing the journals and soul retrievals, right? You do all of those things. It's all about that self-work, that value. Saying, I'm worthy enough to retrieve that is mine. You know? But you need your tools, you need to recognize who you are. You know? And if you can't see it within yourself, there are people that can do it. You know, there are people that can assist you until you're ready to do it yourself. So Ruby, any more questions? No, I'm okay. How about you guys? Any statements? You're all good? You guys want to share something with us, especially with your healing work that you guys do? I mean, Doug and Rita, they are just amazing with the work that they do.
I was just thinking when you were talking about emotions and how when I talk to people about emotions, remember it's like water. It flows through, something else will come behind it, that will flow through. Don't let the emotion stagnate, let it flow.
Yes.
And something else will come, and it won't be so inundating for the whole rest of your life that it will release it.
Oh my God, that is it's so simple way of putting it, but it's so beautiful and profound.
Yeah. We all get afraid that we're going to get stuck.
Yeah.
That I'm not always be angry.
What if they do get stuck? I know somebody that's stuck.
So when we see others, when we see them, oh, that person's stuck, the idea, the way that we help people is to see them in their perfection. So as a shamanic practitioner, I cannot see someone's illness, because then I will bring that illness to the surface and create it as more tangible and more real. I have to see their perfection beyond what is going on. I have to know, and that's how you can help, is you see the perfection beyond and give them a chance to rise up to that which they can be. It's offering opportunity.
I like that.
That's just love, man. That's just the
It's love, you see, that's what it is. And also keep in mind, we don't always understand other people's journeys. we sometimes have a perception that this journey needs to be like this. Like, it's either this or that. That's still old way of thinking. We're not encouraging that not to live or think in the human form, because at the end of the day, we're here for the human experience, but it's to integrate the spiritual and the human, right? Having them work together. But certain people's paths are not always clear to us. They're not meant to be clear to us. We can send good energy. We can allow our lights to shine. Just do you. And it's going to have that ripple effect on them. And then there will be people such as Doug and Rita and other individuals. So, they will be there to help with the transition. They will help to at least give that little nudge. When somebody's stuck and they say, I am stuck. I feel like I'm stuck. They'll, help out with that. And sometimes it's not even that they're stuck. It's just they are where they need to be. So it really does depend on that. That's why it kind of, when we see things like that, it kind of puts less pressure on us to judge or to try to resolve it. And less pressure on us feeling that it's our responsibility. But it's not. And there's nothing wrong with sending good intentions for people and love to them and healing light. Yes, there are things that I wouldn't recommend doing without their consent. Actually, a lot of things. Most things you shouldn't do without people's consent. But for the most part, you can send good intentions and love and do what you need to do for you. So hopefully that vibration, that light that you're allowing to shine is going to show a little bit of light on their path in order for them to see a little clearer. That's the best you could ever do. Alright? Well, I'm good with this. I have no idea if any of you have anything else you want to share or comment on, but yeah, I wanted to have a little bit of a conversation and just talk, not just go into channel. Sometimes I like to recap on it. So thank you for that opportunity, and thanks for coming here and listening. I really, really do appreciate it, and I'm honored. Thank you. Thanks, guys.